Coming up, a police operation to free puppies from horrific conditions leads to pandemonium in Durham.
Allegations that some of them have been taken away from the mother too young, and that's the reason why they're dying.
Cassie the Staffy is found in a drugs den. Has she eaten something she shouldn't?
She's a bit excited to be here. Her heart is a little bit faster than usual. Could be some drugs, but we just don't know. We can't say for sure.
And this first aid course is the dogs. No, seriously.
CPR, bandaging, lots of little things that can help you assist a dog in a first aid emergency.
Who doesn't love a puppy, eh? Hello. You're very small. Now, if you'd like a little one like this to join your family, there's loads of ways to go about it. There are private breeders all over the country, and everything's regulated to make sure you get a healthy, happy dog that's been well treated. But sadly, there is a dark side to this industry too. There's an underground world of illegal puppy farming where puppies are reared in bulk without a thought for health or welfare. It's 4 a.m. on a winter's morning. Inspector Emma Stainthorpe is heading to a police briefing about a joint RSPCA operation to raid puppy farms across County Durham. Emma's been with the RSPCA for 3 years. She has one rescue dog, a collie, called Ollie, and as a little girl, she used to post notices through neighbours' doors telling them to look after their pets.
I've had quite a lot of complaints about puppies that have been bought in the area that have either died, unfortunately, or have serious medical concerns. The way that they're coming out, it looks as though they probably are kept in bad conditions. Some have been coming out with parvo.
Parvo is a gastric condition that causes dehydration and diarrhoea and can be life-threatening for puppies. It's one of the many ways these poor animals are made to suffer.
There's also allegations that some of them have been taken away from the mother too young, and that's the reason why they're dying or they're really ill.
At Durham HQ, police officers and RSPCA inspectors are attending the briefing.
We're here because over the last few months there's been an RSPCA-led investigation in relation to puppy farming. These people haven't been licensed. The puppies on a number of occasions have been extremely ill. We've had several dogs that have died very soon after being handed over to the people who purchased the dogs. So our intention today is to search 6 addresses looking for evidence in relation to the sale of these pups.
The officers are heading out to 6 locations over the county, ranging from houses in Durham City to farms in the countryside, hoping to catch the criminals napping. Emma is with a squad heading to a farm just outside Durham.
It's costing people quite a lot of money and a lot of heartache, really, because they're buying this lovely puppy, a companion, and they're finding them dead the next day, or they've got a lot of vet bills to pay. And that's what we're here for, really, to alleviate that suffering.
As Emma arrives, officers storm the farm and make several arrests, while she waits for the all-clear to enter and search the property for dogs.
We're just waiting for the police to, I think he's dealing with the people that actually live here. We're just waiting for the go-ahead to go on site.
As dawn breaks, Emma finally gets permission to go inside.
No one's explained to her that the dog's free.
It's believed there are only a handful of dogs at this site, but Emma wants to get to them as quickly as possible.
There's 2 young dogs and 1 older dog. This is a female, believed to be a Chihuahua cross. Don't know if you can see, but her nails are really long. In the corner is another female terrier, and she's got a lot of staining on her belly. Oh, good girl.
And finally, in a shed, cowering on his own with no water, Emma finds a tiny puppy.
You can obviously hear the puppy crying, which isn't good. We don't know how long it's been without water.
There may be only 3 dogs here, but for Emma, it's 3 lives saved. She now needs to get them medical attention as soon as possible.
It's really young, so it's going to the vets now to be checked over, because it could be too young to be away from its mum, so we want to make sure that it's not dehydrated or anything like that, and to make sure it hasn't got any other viruses such as parvo or anything like that. So we want to get them checked out as soon as we can. It's very cute, aren't you?
As a valuable commodity, puppies are generally treated just well enough to make them saleable. It's the adult dogs that usually suffer, treated simply as breeding machines. To make sure you buy a puppy from somewhere that has treated puppies and mothers well, here are a few golden rules to follow. Buy your puppy from a reputable supplier. Check their credentials and that they're properly registered. Ask to see it with its mother and the rest of the litter in their natural environment to check that the mother is healthy and the family is well looked after. Never buy a puppy under 8 weeks old. Younger than that, they're too small to be separated from their mum. The operation, coordinated from Durham Police HQ, has raided 5 more properties over the county, where they've located many more dogs.
Yeah, just to let you know, there's a further 9 dogs en route to you now.
Each dog is given a number as conditions are recorded. In the UK, no bitch is legally allowed to breed more than 6 broods of puppies in her lifetime. It's likely that these dogs have been whelped many more times than that. Across town, Emma arrives at a vet's where numerous dogs are already being health checked and finds herself in the midst of a mammoth task.
It's dog after dog, so we've got a lot of work to do.
You are stinky.
And inside, it's pandemonium as dogs everywhere wait to be examined. We'll catch up with the chaos later on. Over in Durham, a huge joint police and RSPCA operation across the county has arrested a gang of suspected puppy farmers, people who breed dogs in often terrible conditions. Now over 50 dogs and puppies have been brought to a vet surgery in Durham for health checks before they're taken to kennels. Inspector Emma Stainthorpe was at the raids and witnessed the conditions firsthand, but she's not daunted by the work ahead.
It's dog after dog, so we've got a lot of work to do. We have to take it slowly just so we don't miss anything and make sure that we're providing the correct treatment for each dog.
RSPCA Chief Inspector Mark Gent has been coordinating the operation.
These people who are breeding these animals and selling them the way they are, it's purely about money, it's about profit. They don't have a life really. They're breeding machines, they're in their pens to be bred. The puppies themselves, a product of what they do. It's just a bag of money for these people. 6 people have been arrested. We've secured 41 adult dogs and 12 puppies, and we believe a lot of the adult dogs that we've got are female, which means that they could be in pup, which means that we could potentially have upwards of maybe 100 puppies that we've taken off the streets today.
There are all sorts of breeds and crossbreeds here, and mothers and puppies separated by the puppy farmers. It's a huge amount of work to check each animal for disease. Vet Michaela Wright has been discovering all sorts of problems.
The main problems we've been having are dental problems, sore gums, rotten teeth, conjunctivitis, so sore eyes. With the smaller dogs, we've been getting luxating patella, which is where the kneecaps don't sit in the joint properly. Some dogs are depressed. We've got one that's due to whelp. We've got various problems.
But the puppies are generally fairly healthy. They've been better looked after because they're valuable to the puppy farmers.
Have you weighed her?
As most of the dogs grew up on the puppy farm, they've never been named, let alone trained or socialised, so each dog is allotted a number. Not as easy to keep track of as you might think.
This is CN3. The first ill one on the list. Oh, how are you doing that?
Is it the first one from that location though?
It's 3. So there'll be a 1 and a 2.
So if we find CN1 and 2 first.
Do them in order, that's fine.
Michaela and her nurses have seen over 50 dogs throughout the day in various conditions. It's obvious to her that the puppy farmers have broken numerous laws under the Animal Welfare Act.
Section 4 is unnecessary suffering, so animals that are suffering and the owners should have noticed and done something about it. Section 9 is a welfare issue, so failing to meet the needs of the animals. So not noticing that they've got problems, letting them live in poor conditions. A lot of the dogs are Section 9s. We've probably got about 60% with Section 9s and probably about 10% with Section 4s.
As the afternoon ticks on, Michaela and her team work their way through the list and make sure the dogs get what's probably their first decent meal in a while. No time for a lunch break for the vet and nurses, though.
We've done 12, and some of them are puppies.
Yeah.
Not even a fifth of the way through.
Earlier, Emma rescued a little puppy in a shed on his own with no water.
Could be too young to be away from its mum.
For now, he's just called NF1, and he does seem to be rather hungry.
No, I don't eat that. Thank you.
I like to do that. That's a good thing to chew, isn't it? It must feel nice.
There's nothing wrong with you, is there? Nothing wrong with you.
Luckily, he's given the all clear health-wise.
How old do we think it is?
8 to 10 weeks.
And lastly, just needs his picture taken for the vet's records. Smile. In among all the issues that Emma and her team are dealing with, there's a moment of joy as a mum is reunited with her babies.
Hey, stop it! This is your baby. You're like a little squirrel baby. I know, well done. Well done.
Although the dogs and puppies are safe and finally in good care, they can't yet be found new homes because of the ongoing investigation.
If there are any dogs that need further treatment, they will stay in the veterinary practice. Otherwise, we'll be going to the boarding establishment. We can't rehome them until we've been to court or whether the owners are willing to sign the dogs over to us.
The legal process could take several months. For now at least, the 3 dogs Emma has rescued, including little NF1, need not return to the ghastly puppy farm. We'll catch up with him later on. The whole point of rescuing dogs like Gadget and Elsa here is so that they can be rehabilitated, even retrained, and found new, loving owners. But every now and then, a very special dog comes along who inspectors or welfare officers might spot as having an exceptional talent, and they're singled out for a very different sort of life. PC Lee Webb is a dog trainer working for Somerset and Avon Police. He's been training dogs, including rescues, for use in police work for 17 years and knows what to look out for.
Rescue dogs can make very good police dogs. It depends very much on the individual dog. I'm looking for dogs that have got no undue nervousness or aggression, a strong desire to search and work, and also have a strong desire to retrieve.
Today, Lee's on his way to West Hatch Rehoming Centre in Somerset to meet Tyson, a 12-month-old Staffy rescued from a family home after he was considered too unruly to live with their 3 young children. Kennel Supervisor Sue Dix first spotted Tyson's talent.
From West Hatch we've had, I think, 11 dogs that's gone to the police. I find it very, very rewarding, knowing that they've been given a second chance in life.
Tyson has been with Sue for 2 months now, but it didn't take long for her to spot his special talents.
This dog is keen, enthusiastic, wants to please, and is prepared to search and search.
Lee has a special 4-stage test for any dogs that might be suitable to join his team.
You've got the tennis balls, have you?
Yeah.
First up is a test of Tyson's retrieval skills.
Oh, that is amazing.
And a tennis ball among the brambles doesn't faze him at all.
Good boy.
But just to be sure that wasn't a fluke, Lee wants to have another go.
Good boy.
And he's done it. Could Tyson make the grade?
That's probably one of the most extreme retrieves I've seen. If that was in a house, for example, that could be a pile of clothing, it could be obstacles in the way from the dog getting to the scent. That's a good start. Here we go, lock cabin.
Test 1 over and passed with flying colours. It's on to number 2, where the ball is hidden out of view in an exercise designed to assess his sense of smell. A dog's sense of smell is at least 1,000 times better than a human's, but this doesn't mean this will be a walk in the park for Tyson. There are lots of conflicting smells in here, and he hasn't yet been trained in this type of retrieval, so Tyson's finding this one a real challenge. But after a few words of encouragement from Lee...
Good boy, good boy, good boy.
Tyson comes good.
Good boy. Stunning, absolutely stunning. The drive and determination to get that ball where you could see for yourself, trying to push aside that heavy table. I mean, he's probably one of the best dogs we've ever seen, actually, in terms of drive. Got top marks for me.
Yeah, good boy. Come
on,
then,
you got the ball, don't you? Good boy.
On to the next stage, and the ball is hidden in a much more confusing environment, with many more obstacles and smells. It's at this stage that most dogs will fail.
Fetch.
But in just over 30 seconds, Tyson finds the ball, much to Lee's amazement.
Good boy, good dog. For a dog that's never done it before, a very difficult search. We've got tools, we've got things that the dog can knock over. It was up high, the dog didn't use his eyes, he used his nose, and that's exactly what I'm looking for.
The final, toughest test of all is to see how Tyson gets along with other search and rescue dogs.
Yep.
If he can't play with his new work colleagues nicely and shows signs of aggression, then all this hard work will be for nothing.
Whoopsie. Good boys. Good dog. Brilliant start.
But again, Tyson wins through.
Whoopsie. If you see the extremes of the tunnel, if there were going to be problems of aggression, that's when we're going to see it, when the dogs are confined, both in effect looking for the same toy. And what we see here is the dog's not bothered at all, so a really good start for me. So what we can see here is Tyson is more interested in the ball than he is the other dogs. We haven't got any aggression issues, which is really nice, and he's having a great time.
With all 4 tests passed, Tyson will now be taken to the Police Dog Training Centre to start an intensive regime to turn him into a fully fledged police search and rescue dog.
Off to Bristol.
Good boy. Behave yourself.
It's a proud moment for Sue.
I'm really pleased with the way today's gone, but at the same time a little bit sad to see him go, but I know it's for the best for him and he's going to have a happy life doing what he loves doing, playing with the ball.
Stay tuned to see how Tyson gets on in his new career. Newbrook Animal Centre in Birmingham is one of the RSPCA's flagship centres. It was the first RSPCA centre to be built with a hospital and a rehoming centre under one roof, and they also offer veterinary treatment at the hospital for those who can't afford it elsewhere. Elaine Buchan is the animal centre manager and has seen all kinds of cases come through the centre's doors.
What a good girl.
And the case of Tinsel the Staffy puppy is one of its most mysterious. It all happened just before Christmas 2013.
We were just carrying on as normal in reception when 2 gentlemen who'd been leaving the centre came across the little dogs in our car park. The little dog had been running free, so he picked the dog up and brought it to us. We were obviously a bit concerned for the dog because he'd been running free in our roadway, but fortunately he hadn't been hit by any cars.
But how had Tinsel got into the car park? The centre is miles away from the town. If she was astray, she had a very good sense of direction to make it to the local RSPCA centre.
When Tinsel came into us, we obviously treated her as a stray, but we were very keen to understand what did actually happen. We had a look at our CCTV images, and it very quickly became clear that this little dog had been abandoned.
After searching through hours of video, Elaine and her team hit the jackpot. Tinsel's owner's car, and Elaine spotted a sad detail in the shot.
Seeing the dog running after the car that she'd been thrown out of was just heartbreaking.
Seeing poor Tinsel alone and confused naturally angered Elaine and her staff.
There's no need for dogs to be abandoned in this way. It's just not on. Even though bringing the animal to an animal centre could be seen as better than dumping it in any random street, it's still not acceptable. You've got to make provisions for your animals for the rest of its natural life.
Hello, baby. Come on in.
Just 1 week after arriving at the centre, Tinsel's loving her new life and new friends. Today, she's getting a walk with Elaine and animal care assistant Jake, who have really fallen for this little Staffy.
She's got a good future ahead of her now. She is such a gorgeous dog. She's so friendly and happy and very well behaved.
I would say the day she was abandoned, and like all the dogs that come in, they get a health check and an assessment for a few days to make sure they're happy and healthy and well socialised. When dogs are this age, they need to be socialised with other dogs to make sure they're okay to be off lead in parks and things like that, just so they can be happy dogs, really. And she's been doing that fantastically, which is good news.
He's a good girl.
Despite never being able to trace Tinsel's original owners, there was a tantalising clue as to what sort of person might have owned her, one that helped inspire her new name.
She came into us with a pink diamante collar, so I think she's used to glitter and dazzle in her life, so Tinsel does suit.
Tragically, over 100,000 dogs are abandoned every year. With luck, it won't be long before Tinsel finds a new family to love her.
And hopefully someone will give her a good forever home, as we call it, around here. And who wouldn't, eh?
She is a perfect example of what a beautiful, well-brought-up Staffy can be. So I hope that her story helps find other staffies good homes too.
RSPCA centres across the country have dogs like Tinsel just waiting for a good forever home. So if you're interested in giving a dog a home, stay tuned for details at the end of the show, when we'll also have an update on Tinsel. With an estimated 460,000 dogs in London, protecting the capital's canine population is a huge job. 43 inspectors cover 611 square miles, and keeping a watchful eye south of the river is Inspector Kate Fletcher.
How can you live with that and think that that is acceptable? The mind boggles, and she's just such a lovely dog as well.
Kate has been an inspector for 4 years now. She has 2 rescue dogs, and her favourite breed are German Shepherds. Today she's responding to a police call about a dog being left alone in a flat, its owner having been arrested.
They found this dog living in really bad conditions, apparently. A lot of faeces and urine, used drug needles on the floor, broken glass. Apparently the dog is quite underweight. I'm going with an open mind because I don't know what I'm going to find. Hello. Oh, great, okay.
As she arrives, a police officer escorts Kate into the flat where they found the dog.
Hello.
In the flat, Kate meets a young Staffy cross called Cassie.
Don't know what she's crossed with. Could be a multitude of things, but there's certainly some Staffy in there.
Staffordshire Bull Terriers are one of the most popular breeds in the UK. They were originally bred in the 19th century, a cross between bulldogs and various local terriers, to be used in the then popular sport of bull baiting. Loyal and protective, they thrive in well-disciplined environments.
She's a little bit underweight. She's not actually too bad. She's generally, other than that, quite healthy.
Healthy she may be, but Kate can tell Cassie is nervous and reserved around all these strangers, which is unusual for a Staffy.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, God, has she just done that?
Yeah, she wet herself
She
on
did it
came in as well.
She's a bit nervous. She's done some submissive urination when she meets us, which is sometimes an indicator just of being nervous. It's sometimes, but not always, indicative that the dog is used to being beaten, and it's urinating out of fear.
As she gets a look around the flat, Kate can see Cassie's certainly had a haphazard domestic life.
There's a lot of debris. I mean, we've got smoked spliffs on the floor, syringes here, big thing of bleach here. If a dog had chewed through that, it would be dead. To let it live like this is obviously unacceptable and just really, really dangerous. There's methadone here. There's heroin paraphernalia here. The dog had free run of the flat, so I'm absolutely amazed that that dog hasn't injured itself.
And in the kitchen, it's obvious that Cassie hasn't had food or water for a while.
These tins are all out here, but they're obviously mouldy. There's not a sign that she's a particularly well cared for dog, and the conditions she's been exposed to and the way she's been living is really quite horrendous.
As it appears that she hasn't been fed for some time, Cassie might have eaten something in the lounge, so Kate needs to get her to a vet immediately.
She'll get a vet check, and we'll do some blood tests to make sure that she's not got anything dodgy in her system, because obviously there is a lot in there that she could have ingested and it might not be immediately obvious. She's a sweet little dog.
Has Kate rescued Cassie in time? Find out later on. The dog rescuers have saved all kinds of dogs, young and old, big and small. Lucy here is one of the older dogs that they've found. There are lots of older dogs looking for homes. They might need a bit more care than other dogs, and they might not join you on your morning run, but they've still got a lot to offer, haven't they, Lucy? Lucy. Over in Derby, it's a special day for Sally the Terrier Cross. Today she's returning to the local RSPCA centre for a checkup with her new owner, Andy.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Andy. Hiya, Sally. I would never have thought that she'd look so good so quickly.
Sally's been with Andy for 4 weeks now and has gone through quite a change. 7 weeks before, Sally was discovered by Inspector Sarah Burrows at a house in Derby. At 11 years old, Sally had multiple old age problems and her elderly owner was finding it difficult to cope.
The lady asked social services to ring us this morning because she's not able to afford the vet treatment and she wanted help with that. So the lady signed her over to us, so we're going to get her to the vet now and we'll go from there.
With Sally's suffering, the owner made a difficult choice, but the right one for Sally's welfare.
It is a hard decision for people to make. I mean, she's had the dog a long time, but she's just not able to afford the treatment anymore, so we'll get her sorted out now.
Sally was taken to Derby Kennels and was soon adopted. And today, Sally's back for a final checkup with centre manager Lucy.
She's seen our vet recently and she's come off her antibiotics now, which is fantastic. Obviously now she's got no open sores on her, so that's great. We're just really grateful for you, Andy, for taking her on and giving an older dog a chance.
She's a great dog and she's full of beans and she's doing really well.
Fantastic. Hopefully lots of life left in her yet then.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Checkups like this are especially important for Sally. At 11 years old, she's a very senior Yorkie. Most breeds of dog have a life expectancy of about 12 to 15 years. As they age, dogs can experience bone and joint problems, especially in hips. Their memory, their ability to learn, awareness and sight and hearing can all deteriorate, but with the right care, a dog can easily enjoy a happy old age. Back home, being a senior citizen doesn't mean she can't enjoy a good runabout.
Sally, come on.
Even elderly dogs need to stay active, and gentle play like this is just the ticket for Sally.
Sally!
In her elderly years she may be, but her age isn't something that worries Andy and partner Sue.
Our last two dogs were rescued and it was a really positive experience for us. That gave us the confidence really to go and look again at the RSPCA.
We particularly like looking after older dogs, gives us the satisfaction we're giving in quality life it maybe wouldn't get. There are the additional vets trips and bills and things that go with it. That's part of the giving process, isn't it? We'll make it our mission to give her every enjoyable minute we can.
To ensure that Sally is getting the very best care,
Sally!
Tonight Andy and Sue are taking her to a first aid class.
Good girl.
A specialist doggy first aid class.
We wanted to do the course because she had an awful lot of health problems and we thought it'd be a useful skill to learn.
So it's back to school for Andy, Sue and Sally, led by teacher Sue Oliver.
Come on in.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Sally.
Hello, Sally. Some gloves and some paper for you ready. You're all going to learn a little bit about canine first aid, CPR, bandaging, lots of little things that can help you assist a dog in a first aid emergency.
First of all, the basics. How on earth do you find a dog's pulse?
Sally, you're looking gorgeous. Looking at the pulse, you're going to go for the femoral artery.
Oh, there it is, inside the back leg.
Just remember, a little bit of knowledge can go a long way.
It's on to the first lesson. What do you do if your dog's heart stops beating?
I'm going to demonstrate CPR on Casper. Important, clear your airway. Make sure your tongue is out. You're going to use your face shield and you're going to do mouth to nose.
A dog's heart beats between 70 and 120 times a minute.
You see it rise?
Compared with a human heart, which beats 70 to 80 times a minute.
2 good breaths. Then you're going to have your arms straight and you're going to do 15.
Dogs' hearts are much smaller than humans, but would still need vigorous massage to be restarted. No, this isn't the rest of the class. They're here for Sue to demonstrate on.
Recovery position is really important. If you're waiting for a vet to have its airway clear, its legs slightly raised. What do you think, Sally?
Is she talking to me?
Yeah. You're going to all have a go at this now. Yeah.
Time for Andy to get a turn. Go on, give it some welly. Sorry, Sally, not sure Casper's up for making friends. As dogs age, their bones become more brittle, which can especially be a risk for smaller, less muscly dogs like Sally. So the next part of the class is bandaging, but this time Casper isn't getting a look in.
We're going to bring in some real dogs, everyone, so that you can have a go at bandaging on a live animal. Good girl. Yep.
It's Andy's turn.
Would you start with bandaging on the wound?
Imagine that your cut is just there. and then go down. Remember, because we're doing the leg, let's go down. That's really good how you're just unrolling it. It's quite a common occurrence that dogs split their tail, and people think, oh, how am I going to bandage this? Attach it to the leg, put your swab on, and then bandage it around your leg.
With a few handy basics taught, it's time to head home.
You've all done absolutely marvellously. You don't have to be a major first aider to do good for a dog.
It's been a rewarding evening for Sue and Andy, and they certainly feel more safe being Sally's new owners.
The course has been very worthwhile. It's made me feel that I could cope with an emergency if I had to, rather than panic in the first instance.
All dog owners should consider taking a course like this, because just in the eventuality that something happens to your dog, it would be awful to lose a dog that you perhaps could save.
If you think you can help an elderly dog enjoy their senior years, stay tuned to the end of the show for details. Over in London, Cassie the Staffy has been rescued from a house after the owner was arrested. She was left with no food or water, and evidence of drug use and preparation, from bleach to dirty needles, littered the flat. Worried that Cassie may have eaten something dangerous, Kate's rushed her to see local vet Paul Grant.
We originally took her out of there because of the conditions, because there was like used needles, syringes, bottles of methadone, chemicals in big buckets. So we just wanted her to be checked, A, for whether or not she's ingested any of that. Oh, bless her, oh dear.
Uncharacteristically for a Staffy, Cassie's nervous and frightened, and being surrounded by strangers isn't helping. But at least vet Paul can get the sample he needs.
How obliging of you. I'll do a faecal sample in a minute as well.
But there's a serious risk that Cassie may have eaten something fatal.
If you've got a starving dog living in that environment, if he's potentially been away and not been with her, feeding her or giving her any water, then it will come a time when she looks at what's around and she starts thinking, well, you know, that bit of foil looks tasty and it might have remnants of heroin on it, and, well, it doesn't bear thinking about, really.
First of all, Cassie gets a thorough examination.
She's a bit excited to be here. Her heart is a little bit faster than usual. Could be some drugs, but we just don't know. We can't say for sure.
A speeded up heartbeat's a worrying sign, but it could still be just Cassie's nervousness. As some of the initial test results come back, Paul discovers another cause for concern.
We have some blood test results and her liver is not working absolutely perfectly at the moment, so maybe she did get hold of something.
Other than the heart and liver problems, Cassie seems relatively healthy. But just to be sure, further tests will have to be done.
If we can have a full blood screen done, just to see if there is any trace of anything dodgy in her blood, because if potentially it does lead to a prosecution case, it would be good to get all that done.
It will take a few weeks for these final results to come through, but whatever the outcome, Kate's hoping the owner will see justice for endangering Cassie's life.
We'll wait to see whether or not there's anything in her blood that might indicate whether or not she has ingested anything that was in the property. Hopefully, we'll be able to have enough evidence to stop him getting his dog back so that she can go and find a good home. Deserve to be kept safe, don't you? Yes, you do.
So it's off to the kennels, and fingers crossed for her results. We'll find out what they are later. We've seen dogs come into RSPCA centres in all sorts of states. Some have been abused. Some have had awful diseases that haven't been treated properly. It's really sad. But one of the things that inspectors see time and time again is skinny dogs, underfed and malnourished. Finally tonight, we've got a case about a shockingly thin dog. But thankfully, this one's got a happy ending. Last year, Inspector Hershey Bowl rescued Elsie, a very skinny Dalmatian, from a house in Birmingham. She was close to starvation, and Hershey couldn't believe what she'd seen.
Nobody asks you to go and get a pet. Nobody asks you to go and buy a dog. Buy a dog as well. I mean, they went out and bought a dog, spent £300 on it.
Hershey took Elsie to be examined by local vet Darren Jennings.
So as you can see her pelvic bones, you can see her ribs. She's got very little subcutaneous fat, it's just skin on bone. So she's extremely underweight, you can see all of her bones. She's very hungry. The likelihood is that she's been underfed. That's a very hungry dog eating all the food.
She's a lovely dog, and I'm just hoping that she'll do well and put on weight.
Straight up. Out you come. Walkies.
It's 9 months later, and Hershey's wish has come true. Elsie now lives on a farm in Colchester with new owner Jane Morgan and her new best friend, another Dalmatian called Lilia. all thanks to a certain programme.
I was doing the ironing at home and I turned the television on and it happened to be on Channel 5 in a programme called Dog Rescuers, which I hadn't seen before. And then suddenly the inspector said she was going to see a Dalmatian with reports that it had been starved. It was quite extraordinary because when the camera focused directly onto Elsie, this poor emaciated skeleton of a dog, it appeared to me that she was looking straight into my eyes and I looking into her. It was a strange feeling and I just knew then that she was going to come to live with us. And now she's here.
Elsie's been with Jane for a month now and is looking better already.
She's put on half a kilo every week that we've had her. So she's almost up to her optimum weight, I would say now. Hopefully there's been no permanent damage to her. Doesn't look like it, does it?
And she's certainly settled into her new home.
Dalmatians are real couch potatoes. They love their comfort. We're watching TV around about 9 o'clock. She'll start to whine and whinge. And I know it either means, please put a cover over me, or let's go up to bed. And we go up to bed and we have a little cuddle, don't we? Yes, I know. Oh, I feel very blessed having two beautiful dogs.
It can be difficult to get used to a new dog when you already rule the roost, but Lilia and Elsie seem to have worked things out just fine.
They're just such friends. They curl up together, they play together, and when they're outside, they trot along together. Right from the start, it was as if they were best friends.
For Jane, the icing on the cake was being able to help a rescue dog.
Now, I think it is extremely rewarding having a rescue dog, and maybe just in yourself you feel good because you've done it, but there are so many dogs. You go to any rescue centre and you look at them and they're all pleading at you to take them. OK, there may be some problems for a little while, but you get such love from them and they definitely show you how they appreciate being in a loving home.
And everything else he's been through has been put firmly in the past.
Yeah, I think it's incredible how dogs settle and forgive. It's only we humans who bear grudges and resentments, isn't it?
Earlier in South London, we met Cassie, found abandoned by Inspector Kate Fletcher in a drugs den. With no food in the flat and drugs lying around, her rescuers were worried that she might have eaten something she shouldn't.
There's a lot of debris. I mean, we've got smoked spliffs on the floor, syringes here, there's methadone here.
Cassie was tested to see if she had ingested anything dangerous. On the legal side, the RSPCA was unable to get enough evidence to prosecute her owner for mistreating Cassie, but did agree to sign Cassie over to the RSPCA. The drug tests are in. And it's good news. Cassie is clear of any drugs.
Good girl.
She was really nervous and scared of people. She couldn't be rehomed in this condition. So the staff at her kennels embarked upon a programme of confidence building and bonding. And she's come on leaps and bounds.
She's a very sweet dog. She's good-natured, good with other dogs. We can't really find much of a fault with her.
Under the watchful eye of canine welfare specialist Ronnie Jeffrey, her confidence in people has been rebuilt, and she's turned from a nervous wreck to a happy, friendly dog, all ready to find a new home. In Durham, the police and the RSPCA are currently investigating the 6 people they arrested for running puppy farms. Until then, little NF1 and his friends are being well looked after at a local kennels. But once it's done and dusted, it won't be long before this little fellow finds a new home. Tyson the Staffy carried on with his police dog assessment and continued to impress his trainer.
Good boy, Tyson. Good boy.
This dog threw himself into everything to try and get that ball, which is what we want when we're working him operationally.
Not forgetting Tinsel, our CCTV star. After just a few weeks at the RSPCA centre where she was abandoned, she was adopted by a new family.